Good morning to our beautiful community and welcome to Light the Torch. My name is Ella and I am so grateful you're joining us today for what I know will be a passionate and powerful conversation. Our guest today is a poet whose words burn with truth and soul. So we have T. Frierson, which is the author of Cosmic Butterfly, Soul Poetry of a Twin Flame, which I think it's a magnetic and transformative collection that explores love in its most intense and spiritual form. So if you've ever felt a connection that you couldn't explain or a pull that transcends time, I think this is a book that will speak directly to your soul. So T, welcome. It's such a joy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Now, I think we can start with the heart of it all. So, my question for you is what's your personal take on the concept of twin flames? And do you think this connection is something we all experience in our lifetime?
Um, After my experience, I think it's quite possible. I think a lot of people just don't understand it, and so they never really realize it. Um, in my case, I met my twin flame when I was 6 years old. So we've basically had our whole lifetime together, but never really understanding our connection. So I think it's quite possible something that everyone can go through in this lifetime. Personally, and I know there's like a lot of information about what a twin flame is and what a twin flame isn't. Um, for me, when somebody asks me like, "Is this my twin flame?" or "How do you know?" and all this and that, my answer for that is always, "It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, twin flame is just a label." Um, it really just gets down to the unconditional love of it, the lessons of it, and the whole soul pool of it.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting conversation with such different perspectives and points of view. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why we're here to discuss a little bit about your own perspective. Because I think in Cosmic Butterflies is described as both passionate and painful. So how do you think poetry can capture such intense emotions, and how do you personally relate to that duality?
Um, well, I think poetry, I think it's able to capture all the emotions just because it doesn't have to make sense to everybody, but to the person who it the person who feels it, like, it's for them, and so they're gonna understand it. Like one poem might hit another person, well, another person might read it and be like, well, that's stupid, that don't make sense. But if it's for you, it's for you, and you're gonna get it. And that's why I broke it up into the three parts: the passion and the pain and the passionate love. Because at some point you felt at least one of those in some kind of connection.
Okay, because connections are such an interesting world with different ways of perceiving them. And in your opinion, what makes Cosmic Butterflies different from other poetry collections? What do you think draws readers to its raw, transformative themes?
um well, I know for me personally, I love poetry that isn't like super long or super cryptic. Like, just it just kind of hits me where it's gonna hit me. I don't have to like decipher it or like read it 50 times to try to understand what it's saying. It's kind of like it burns straight to the soul. Like, if it's gonna hit you, like, you're gonna know it when you read it.
Well, that is so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I think when you have that kind of connection with a book, it's very powerful. And before we continue, I just want to take a moment to spotlight the soul and artistry behind this book, because I believe that Cosmic Butterflies is more than a collection of poems. It's an emotional experience, And I think that every verse invites you into a journey of reunion, of surrender and awakening. And whether you've known this kind of love or only dreamed of it, I think that your words will certainly leave a mark when you read the book.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And now that we have this space, for those who may not have experienced a twin flame connection, what do you think is the universal appeal of the poetry in this book?
Um, well, it's definitely not just for twin flames. I feel like if you've experienced love on any level, you can definitely feel the poems in this book. But if you have experienced love on a twin flame level, or even just soulmates or kindred souls, there's gonna be some that's just like, wow, like I get that. Like nobody else gets that, but I get that.
I find really interesting that you talk about different ways of feeling love, or the different approaches that we have to love, because there's not only one way. And I think it's very important to have that discussion. And I think that the book is set to evoke deep emotions. And how has reading Cosmic Butterflies impacted you personally? And what did you learn about love or connection through your own words?
I think Cosmic Butterflies kind of, it was kind of like a pathway to my soul. Um, it really opened up a whole new world for me as I was writing it. It started out as what I call an expedition to my soul. And I was kind of on this soul journey. I wanted to know more about me at the core, like beyond the layers of human being. And once I cracked it open and I realized that, like, wait, this is my twin flame. And then, like, that whole eruption started. Like, these poems, they just start coming to me. And even though not all of them are things I experienced, it was like I would talk to somebody and it was like I could almost feel what they were experiencing. And I was like, that would make a perfect poem. And it led me to, now I'm a self-love and mindset coach. And I feel like that's what led me there, because the poetry, it was, I would say, my medicine. It was very healing, just writing it and getting that energy out, getting that intensity out on paper. And I realized, like, true love in its rawest form, unconditional love, is really what it's all about. People are out here like obsessing and going crazy over like twin flames and all of this, but if you just get to the unconditional love of your soul, that's really what it's all about. And I found a passion for teaching that. And so it led me to become a certified coach. And yeah, so it really it started a lot. Like, I've self-published 6 books since I started writing Cosmic Butterflies.
Well, I think calling poetry your medicine, it's very powerful. Like, you can understand a lot of the heart that you have in this book. So I think it's such a powerful thing to say. And I wanted to thank you for opening your heart and sharing your journey through this incredible collection. I think your voice is a reminder that love, even in its most complicated forms, is always a mirror to the soul. So now, to everyone that is watching us, Cosmic Butterfly, Soul Poetry of a Twin Flame is available now on Amazon. So please dive in, feel deeply, and let this poetry take you somewhere sacred. So thank you so much for joining us, T, and thank you all for joining us today on Light the Torch. And now, until next time, always keep your light glowing and your heart open.
Thank you.
Thanks to you.